Henry V is dead, and the play opens with his funeral. All the nobles are worried about the extremely young Henry VI, who will now inherit the throne under the protection of his fiery uncle Gloucester. Gloucester and the slippery Bishop of Winchester are already arguing about who will hold power in the kingdom, when messenger after messenger enters with bad news. France is in revolt. Many cities are already lost. The Dauphin is now made king of France, and the French lords are joining him to shake off the English rule. And worst of all, the magnificent Lord Talbot, the fierce army commander, has been captured. In France, Charles, the new king, is struggling to overtake the besieged city of Orleans, where he is introduced to a saintly young woman named Joan. She has had visions of the defeat of the English, and when Charles challenges her to single combat to test her resolve, she beats him. Salisbury trades prisoners to ransom Talbot, and though Talbot is now free, Salisbury is killed in the fighting. The city of Orleans falls to Charles and Joan and their army, but with the great Talbot to lead, the English scale the walls of the city and take it back. The French Countess of Auvergne is so impressed with Talbot's martial victories that she invites him to her castle. She is surprised he's not bigger and more muscular given the tales she's heard, but she attempts to make him her prisoner, at which point Talbot calls for his army. They burst through the doors, and Talbot says, "The English army is my strength." Back in England, Somerset and Plantagenet are in a dispute about a legal matter in the Temple Garden. Plantagenet wants to claim the rights of his bloodline, and Somerset says that the only part of Plantagenet's bloodline that matters is the terrible stain of Plantagenet's father, Richard, Duke of Cambridge, committing treason against Henry V. The group of lords argue, and to symbolize their allegiance on this issue, those favoring Plantagenet pluck white roses, and those with Somerset pluck red. The first time we see Henry VI, Gloucester and Winchester are fighting so much that their servants and allies are throwing rocks in the streets. Henry weeps at the conflict and is overjoyed when he is able to persuade Gloucester and Winchester to shake hands. When Plantagenet comes forward with his suit about his bloodline, Henry is delighted to forgive the wrongs of his father and happily bestows on Plantagenet the largest dukedom of England, making him Duke of York. Somerset is furious. In France, Joan convinces the Duke of Burgundy to join with France, and Talbot heads to Paris for Henry's coronation. Immediately after Henry is crowned, there is conflict and more bad news. Henry learns of Burgundy's desertion, and Basset and Vernon, followers of York and Somerset, ask Henry for permission to fight each other. When Henry learns that they want to fight over the color of flowers, he says it is a stupid reason to fight, and that there are real problems in the kingdom that need attending to. To make a point of how trivial it all is, he takes Somerset's red rose, explaining that the color does not matter, and wears it. This makes York quite unhappy. Talbot's son John comes to join the war in France. His father worries that the danger is much greater than they had anticipated and urges his son to leave for safety. But the two fight together, and Talbot dies, holding the body of his son. Although the English have lost their commander, the French are also suffering. Joan conjures the evil spirits to assist her, as they have apparently been helping the whole play, but even the spirits desert her. Joan is soon captured and burned at the stake as a witch. In an attempt to make a lasting peace between France and England, Suffolk woos Margaret of Anjou ostensibly to be Henry's queen. Her father, Venier, agrees, but on condition that she receives no dowry, and that both Maine and Anjou will be entirely without English rule. Suffolk is smitten and agrees to these terrible terms, stealing a kiss before Margaret leaves. Charles submits to a surrender, ending the war with France, but it is clear that there will be no end of trouble within England. There is serious contention among the lords over the matter of Margaret's dowry, which frightens and upsets Henry, to say nothing of the continuing hostility over the allegiance shown by the Roses, and Gloucester and Winchester are far from friends, and Suffolk has his own plans to rule this new queen, and the king, and all of England.